Tuesday morning, guys. I'm off to work in about half an hour. And I just want to tell you guys that concerning the Pentecostal group, they are liquid now. They are liquid, and she's not happy actually that the leaks are coming out. So she's gonna have everything now classified and not be saying much because the leak came out. But that's just enormous news now that's coming out, guys. Why am I saying it now? Because it's already on Telegram, guys. It's already on Telegram that she's liquid. Okay, so it's good news, guys. And the amount of attacks against me has just been incredible. One after another. These people are trolls. These are paid trolls by the cabal, and they've been removed from the chosen room and from many Telegram rooms. So it is going to get worse. It's also from the Latino groups as well. Trolls are coming out. So we are definitely close.
Because to my knowledge, really nothing changed over the weekend. I was hoping maybe we saw something out of Iraq. I watched an interesting video last night or early this morning, I guess, about Iraq, which basically said the same thing I've been saying for months. They're ready. They're ready to go. It's just a matter of that perfect timing or that release to let it go. But I am looking to this week to be hopefully pivotal. Still lots of talk about bondholders and things like that and appointments. We just got to see it come to fruition. I mean, we just have to be patient. So if it never happens, people are going to turn on their gurus. Well, okay. I've never called myself a guru because when I started, I told everybody I didn't have, sources and insiders. I was just a guy who knew finance, and I knew what this was about, and I learned. I became kind of a subject expert. But I listened to a video last night. A guy has been in this for a long time, but he knows somebody that was sovereign bondholder, and they got paid, and he told a story of them absolutely losing their mind for about 2 weeks, becoming hyper paranoid and fearing that people are following them and this and that. And this is somebody that has been in the financial world for a very long time, has dealt with large sums of monies in the past. But when it came to them, they kind of mentally freaked out. And it just was kind of a sobering reality that, are we all going to get billions of dollars? I don't know. I mean, that would be cool, right? But what if we get 10 cents on the dollar? Well, it's still going to be millions, and it's going to be more money than you've ever possessed in your bank at one time ever in your life. Probably more than you would have ever accumulated in your entire working life. So whatever it is, I think we just have to be humble enough to be thankful and receive it in the mode and the method that God would have us do it. But Iraq is going to revalue. They cannot function as a world financial power at 1310. It just can't happen. And if they don't change the value of their currency, they are literally idiots because they are leaving hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue on the table just by not revaluing their currency when it was intentionally devalued to begin with and not by them, right? So Iraq is going to revalue. That is going to happen. How and when we get to take part in it, still up for debate a little bit. I think it's fairly self-explanatory, but who knows, right? Are all the other countries going to revalue? I believe so. I believe that Vietnam is poised and ready to go. There are all kinds of articles about Vietnam that say they are a world power, but they need to increase their value of their currency. Not a lot, just a little bit, right? They just need to make it a little stronger. We have global currencies all over the world tanking through the floor. You have Zimbabwe leading the way because they went asset back 2 years ago, and Zimbabwe is literally kicking butt, taking names in the economic world because they are showing that it works. And so I just, it's going to happen one way or the other in some form or some fashion. Is it going to happen exactly the way that it's been mapped out all these years? That I'm fairly certain it's not going to be true. It's not going to happen exactly how we think. There are going to be some twists and some turns and some curves, but that's where we just have to be patient. We have to be intuitive. We have to think before we act. Don't sign anything until you know exactly what you're signing and why you're signing it. Don't walk in and just throw your currency like, here, take everything, right? I mean, do it in a systematic way. And if something feels really, 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 really wrong, then just push pause and ask questions or get up and leave. I mean, we got to use our intuition. We got to use the Holy Spirit. I don't think any of that's going to come to fruition, right? I mean, I don't think they're going to go in and try to scam us or try to steal our currency or anything like that. But if you're sitting there buying a car and all of a sudden you get the heebie-jeebies, right? So maybe a new manager comes in and they circle talk you and they leave and you're like, I don't know what that guy just said. Like, did you I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to deal with that person. Yeah. Bring back in the other guy I was talking to because, I spent a couple hours building a relationship with. That guy went home. Okay, I'm not buying the car. You know what I mean? Like, if it feels off, then don't go through with it. But it's going to be different. It's going to be an experience that none of us have ever experienced before. But if you're not comfortable, then just ask questions. Express yourself politely, professionally. Don't yell, scream. But if you feel uncomfortable, just say, I am not feeling well. I would like to postpone this and schedule this for another time. And then take your stuff and leave. But
this is kind of like, man, if this actually happened on my birthday after all of this, now it doesn't need to happen on my birthday, guys. I mean, we could have it tonight. I won't still have it as a birthday gift. I won't give it up next Sunday. So, but it's a great time for it to happen. That's the biggest thing. Nothing else I can tell you. If you guys aren't excited right now, I can't get you excited. Now, I didn't say 100% of anything. As a matter of fact, Saturday, when I was talking, I said, see, that's why I can't say 100%. Because you guys keep saying this and this. I can't say 100%. Even though they're saying 99.99999, like I did in the past. I said, I'm just going to stick with 99%. I done been through this so many times. But I know it could happen. The possibility is right there. They're saying the excitement is right there. Now, and I will tell you the thing I'm not supposed to tell you. I could probably say 99.999 based on this, but that 1% is so fragile. That's what I'm gonna say. So unsure to me because it would have went Saturday. They don't even want to say that, but if it could all be over this evening. So one last thing that has to happen this evening, and if it does, we're good and we'll go. But I'll tweet out something. Champagnes, put it on ice, scotch in a cigar. You guys will know what it means. All right? So with that, I'm going to tell you to do what I'm going to do. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be super fantastic while you're doing it. And share the super fantastic. All right, Ray?
I kind of like that. I know you guys don't. After a break of more than a month, parliamentary confirmation of convening the parliamentary session today. They're back at it in Iraq, and they seem to be pushing forward very quickly on a few key pieces. Let's talk about those. All indications indicate that today's session will be held and popular mobilization law will be read. This has been one of the big sticking points for the U.S. to give, I've been told the World Bank, the U.S., the UN, pick an organization. I've been told this has been a stickler from them giving their go, and we hear that could be squared away as early as today. So that's fairly exciting in my book. Found this one more interesting than anything officially. Voter registration update to begin tomorrow, Tuesday, before they will allow elections, upcoming elections in Iraq. They are updating all of their voter registration logs. Where do you live? Where do you live now? Did you get married? Are you in your husband's area? You know, or, in other words, do you live exactly where? They're updating every bit of it. And it's even using their new, they'll call them biometric IDs, guys. Don't panic when you hear that, you know, thumper. In other words, a properly verified ID, much stronger than we have in the US, where you can walk in with some possibly or potentially walk in with some forged documents / whatever and walk out with an ID. No. They're tying it and making certain that everything is up to date before they allow an election. I love this because overwhelming majority of all countries in the world operate like this, but the U.S. makes you question it, doesn't it? Makes you question it. Residency card, national ID, civil status ID, nationality certificate. In other words, they got to jump through some serious hoops to make certain that they are exactly who they are and they're voting where they're supposed to vote. I like it. The Minister of Oil announces the establishment of a fixed platform for the import and export of gas in Basra. Yes, sir. We're adding another floating dock to bring it in. And they give us some of the ideas of, or some of the projects that they are moving forward to replace all Iranian gas. This has forced them to move quickly and become self-sufficient. Thought this one was interesting. I mean, this is already up tens of percents, noting that the percentage of associated gas investment in Iraq has reached 67%. At the end of the year, will reach 70%, meaning domestic production. And they have set up platforms. I am being told that this platform will have the capacity to both import and export as they expand their exportation, pumping, cleaning, filtering, etc. of natural gas. This is all part of these statements. Well, not that one. We're going to get back here. That they need to get clearance and removal from Iran so that they can change rates. Well underway. I love seeing those things. I know I'm getting some very interesting thing on the bond side. I don't have individual bondholders with tons of money running around all over the place, meaning they haven't fully pulled a trigger yet. But I do have a couple of bond flippers that are offering exponentially more than they have ever offered. Roughly half of what a bond is thought to be worth later, meaning when everybody's exchanging, when everybody's been flipped and groups are doing everything. So I'm finding it very interesting that flippers have gone up massively in their percentage, and they would not do that if they thought they were going to be out of that money for very long. So I think that is a huge tell that they are close and in preparations. There's no way they would do it if they were going to have to wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever. They would not be offering the kind of money that they're offering. I mean, they're offering $400 or $500 billion for $1 billion deal now, and these are flippers, which means they're going to have to sit on that massive amount of money out of their pockets until it goes. They would not be doing that if it were not extremely close. I think that is a huge tell. From the ones working with treasuries, et cetera, central banks, guys, they've gone completely zip. The only news I'm really getting right now, or the only people willing to talk, seem to be the flippers, which makes sense. But definitely tells me positive. I continue to have travel details being worked at by some of the group leaders that are supposed to be there to help process the groups as they go through. So I continue to see them making travel plans and being pushed to make their travel plans. So that all feels good. Doesn't tell me when, just tells me we are getting closer. Romeo's girl, duh. I'm working to see if any of the flippers would be interested in either coming on here or me sending people their way. As of right now, I do not have any that want your information. So for the love of God, don't email it to me. I don't want it yet. Nothing I can do with it. And it's just going to get tossed in the trash. Let me make certain I get that part just so nobody inundates me with an obscene extra amount of email when I can't do anything about it yet. But I am looking for some that are willing to take on the community. News update. Everything I hear is that it's supposed to go tonight.
It was supposed to go last night. However, the codes that Iraq was supposed to enter were not entered. This was not Iraq's responsibility. IMF and BIS are supposed to tell Iraq they can go now. What they are waiting for is Tier 3 settlement financial funds transfers. That means Tier 3 liquidity to a certain percentage before Iraq is allowed to enter their codes. They are now shooting for tonight between 12 and 3 Eastern time, not Reno time in this case, Eastern time, for Iraq to do that. Should Iraq do that, we should hear about it in 1 to 3 hours at the most. If Iraq refuses to enter their codes, even though they've been cleared to do so, the codes should be forced into happening. So if they are given the clearance tonight, and this is what we're waiting for, is the clearance. Okay, we have enough Tier 3 liquid now that you can go. If they don't go, it's going to go anyway. That's what I hear. So the question is, have they been given the green light? The answer is no. They are going to attempt to give them the green light again tonight. If we have achieved critical mass, I keep talking about this, Tier 3 critical mass, sufficient backing in Tier 3 by gold, primarily, for the RV to ensue, it will then happen. Other information I have, Tiers 1 and 2 are fully liquid. Tier 3 funds have been moved and are ready to be processed. Many have been paid. Some are still on standby but are fully funded. Now that conflicts with two different sources. One source says, no, the money's not completely in Tier 3 yet. The other says, yeah, Tier 3 is ready to go. After that, once Iraq enters their codes, we are supposed to go very quickly. I have another update. Wow, let me check on that. I have another update that the broker still has not received his contract, but he now has spoken to someone in his group at his level who has. Now, when he receives his contract, that's like a private bond thing, meaning that they're now funded and financed. And I believe they're Tier 3. So we're all kind of waiting on Tier 3. I have another source that I have to paraphrase. He's brand new. But he has told me that he knows that he has two people who received payouts for their bonds. Well, one guy received payout for his bonds and his currency back in February. The other guy received payout for his bonds and is now staring at his payout for his currency, sitting in his bank account, waiting to be released. And I have verification on that. I have visual verification of payout into an account that is liquid. So I believe that is Tier 3. So I believe what we're waiting for, Jen, and piecing this all together from different sources, and I believe I can say this. Wolvie, by the way, says he's getting ready for his opera. I know he said that before, but Wolvie is hearing wonderful things from the Pentecostal groups and South Africa and South America. Jen, you look very youthful today. You look, it's not a filter. You look like, when things are good, when the positive vibe is happening, you look younger, you feel better, you look great. You look really good, Jen.
Well, if you watched the show last night, we did this thing where we're going to pull the light in and we're going to recharge our batteries. I've been doing that.
Remember,
hopefully that's it.
You give with your right and you receive with your left. So bring it in like that. Bring it in the spiral like that, right in there. All right. So the news is, guys, that it is supposed to happen tonight. That is our best opportunity ever. Last night was our previous best opportunity ever. This is now our best opportunity ever. And I, again, will be extremely surprised if it does not happen overnight. But if it doesn't happen, there's a reason. It's simply a matter of final liquidity transfers into Tier 3, and we are really close to that happening. And at this point, with people already having been paid out, which I believe I can now say is confirmed, It's inevitable. It's unstoppable. It's simply a question of when is it our turn. That's where I think we're at, Jen. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and co-host, Jennifer Falah, and give you her Jentel for today, which I'm anxious to hear, Jen, because I haven't heard anything about it. So go.
Okay. Well, good morning. For last night's show, and if you missed that, it is on. There's some Jentel there, and there's also a recharge your battery exercise at the end of it, and that is on philosophy with Jennifer Falah on Rumble. So last night, the information that we got was from Gabriel. It's just things that I heard. I heard budget tables, Iraq, public announcement, and tomorrow, which is today.
Okay.
I heard lease agreements, and then I heard RV processing, rate and notifications for TIER4B Monday through Thursday, and a separate occasion I got 328. Didn't know if that was Thursday. It was. There's been slow movement because of traffic in and through Reno, and then I heard currently funding treasuries. This morning.
Real quick, I did put this on Telegram, but I can confirm all the movement around Reno. I had somebody watching flights yesterday, in and out, private jets, dozens and dozens, a highly unusual level of activity. So that's true.
Okay.
Can already Jentel that. Confirm.
Okay. Today, this is interdimensional meditation for March 24th, 2025. I went into the 6th level of heaven. I was in a hurry this morning. And when I got there, I was like running to the field in front of my tree. And I wouldn't think about the dress. I didn't think about anything like that. I was like, okay, we got 20 minutes. Let's get there. Let's get the information. Let's get it down. Let's get it off to Sue. Get on the show. As I'm running down this hill, I see the sleeve of my dress. And it's yellow. And for those of you who don't know the yellow story, a long time ago, I was testing somebody I was doing meditations with when I was developing this interdimensional meditation, and it was too good. The guy's answers were too close. And I went to Archangel Michael, and I said, well, I'm going to test him, okay? I'm going to send him into meditation. I'm not going to tell him anything. If the code word is yellow, and there must have been something yellow in the room when I did that. And I said, if he comes back and he gives me the code word, I will continue to do this. So I sent him into meditation, and I said, somebody wants to talk to you. He went in. He came back half hour later, sent me an email. He said, I don't know what you wanted me to do, but Archangel Michael was there. He looked at me and said, yellow, and told me to leave. And I was like, oh my God, okay. You can't deny that. So yellow has been the code word for us in this community, the code color that it's happening. Today, the dress was yellow. And as I approached the field next to my tree, Jesus was already there, and the team of archangels were already there, and they were celebrating. And I'm like, okay, am I tripping? Am I making this up? The dress is yellow. And I looked at Jesus, and he was very happy. Took me by the shoulders, and he said, congratulations, you've made it. Between now and this weekend, you will get notifications to exchange. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry right now. It was like, I couldn't even handle it. I mean, so this is one of those times just back a few years ago when God told me you need to trust and you need to go out there and say what I said. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Donald Trump will land on the lawn of the White House at 6 p.m. And such a date and be sworn in as the president of the United States. And then what happened? A helicopter landed on the freaking lawn of the White House. And that was like one of the biggest Jentel confirms ever. So this is one of those days. I'm going to have to come out here and I either make an ass out of myself or I'm fully redeemed. But they said that this is it. We've made it. I looked at Gabriel and I was like, is this really happening? And he said, yes, they signed off. I don't know who that is. I said, is there anything that
IMF and BIS.
Okay, they signed off.
They signed. That's got to be what we're waiting for. Now Iraq can go tonight. So.
All right, and I said, is there anything that could stop this? And I look over, and all I saw was a man. He said no first. And then I saw a man with handcuffs on, but they weren't like police handcuffs. They were these big, wide, like stainless steel clamps on his hands. I'm thinking it means, nope, their hands are tied. They can't. But he said they could only delay, but like for a day, not a very long time. And then everybody's celebrating, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to go out there and say all of this. I mean, am I tripping? I look at Jesus, and he says, trust. I'm like, oh. All right. Throw your slings and arrows. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to trust in God. I'm going to tell you that this is our week. Sometime between now and the weekend, Jesus said, we get notifications to exchange. They have signed off on this. It's a done deal. We're moving into 4B. We made it. Congratulations. You're a strong one. Oh my God. And then Gabriel said, the world is about to change. And that's the Jentel for today.
Well, I think in terms of Jentel, that's probably enough. I don't know what
the 28th is Friday? Yeah, good enough. Close enough. Freaking close enough
Friday.
After all this time. I don't even care.
I'm sorry, 28th, was that the day we started going to appointments? Or?
Well, Jesus, actually, I got the 28th last night when somebody asked me. I can't remember what they asked me. I went through a million questions, but I got the 28th. Last night I got between Monday and Thursday for TIER4B kickoff. I think that's notifications. Today, Jesus said, between now and this weekend, you will get notifications to exchange.
Yeah. Okay. So that
something's got to happen in Iraq before that.
Right. If Iraq were to enter their codes tonight as anticipated, then the 28th would be fine for public notifications because it can be kept quiet for a couple days while they line things up. So there we are. That makes sense.
Forwarded from Wolverine. Upon further review and updates, you are correct. Tier 1 plus 2 are fully liquid. Tier 3 funds have all moved and are ready to be processed. Many have been paid. Some are still on standby but are fully funded. Tier 4A and Tier 4B will move at the same time very quickly. Tier 5 refers to people who are general public that have no idea of RV, equal normies, by digital Dinar at exit_fiat. This message forwarded from Graham Hodgson on Telegram. Tier 4B confirmations now trickling into secure drop zones. Screens are going black, then green. The final sequence has initiated. Emails, calls, and appointments are being quietly issued to pre-cleared participants. Citibank, HSBC, Wells Fargo, and BOA have moved into isolated mode. All Tier 1 branches now under elevated comms lockdown. No public-facing alerts, no press releases, only silence. Why? Because this isn't about the public anymore. It's about precision. Everything is unfolding exactly as planned. Why? Because it's a private event for humanitarians, Tier 4B. Forwarded from Wolverine. Forwarded from Mr. Salvage. It's about the leader, Betzabe Ceballos. She is the only one has the green light from the FMI approved from Switzerland. All projects will be funded by the Pentecostal group. In other words, she will trigger the GCR, expecting a big surprise will shock the world this week. Pray this info is official. This is leader Betzabe Ceballos. She's the only one with the green light, etc., etc. And then it says here, Brother Yuan gave us this information last year in an audio recording. He said she would be the spearhead, and once she delivered her project, the TIER4B notifications would be issued. It is mentioned that it will be now at the end of this March.
Okay, right. ISO 20022. So this is basically, I'm going to do a quick sort of, see if I can do it in 3 minutes. So educational purposes, this is not financial advice or anything like that, but if anything that I share in these videos. So, excuse me. So what this basically is, it's a new messaging system. So you're all used to the current messaging system, which is Swift, which runs on the current binary computer banking system that we run on at the minute, which currently runs on the current internet. All of this is changing. So when we move into ISO 20022, this is the new blockchain technology. So, you know, you've seen this lawsuit going on with XRP for ages. This is all basically just holding it back, ready for now. It's blockchain technology has been used by crypto for years. Most of us have dabbled with it, even if you haven't dabbled with it, you're generally aware of it now. It's more publicly aware than it was like 10 years ago. And so it's blockchain technology. So we are moving to that anyway. That's going to happen regardless. And it's going to happen for a reason. So from the elite side of it, from the government side of it, they know they need to do this because the fiat system is literally, it was on the verge of collapse anyway. It was just so messed up, and it was already messed up pre-2008. But it was going to collapse anyway, so understand it from that point. It was due to collapse. It only took a major domino to fall and a knock-on effect to spread across the whole world. Why? Because every single bank is linked. So when people in countries say, oh, it's not going to affect me, it will. So I'll share some more information in a minute about what's happening. Sort of the Europe side of it, but Credit Suisse, one of the biggest companies in Europe, is on the verge of collapse. So it fell to 30%, then as of sort of last night, it's around 36%. I just need to confirm it to make sure it hasn't already collapsed. But as of yesterday, there was a 47% chance of it collapsing. Now, understand why a bank collapses. It's because the minute the sort of people start worrying about a particular bank, the shares start falling. The shares start falling, people start pulling money out. And because banks trade with 100% of their money now, that money is not in there. It's currently invested in something else. That's how it works. So they changed it through the lockdown side of it because they used to have to keep a reserve. They stopped that. It went to zero. So the minute things start to move out, so what brought the Silicon Valley Bank down is they knew it was ready to collapse anyway, and all of a sudden the execs paid all their executives mass bonuses. Mass tech companies pulled billions of pounds out, and the Mexican cartel pulled massive billions of pounds out. Literally, it caused a huge bank run, and poof. It wasn't the fact that the bank closed, it's the fact that the FDIC had to step in and take control of the bank, because it was in danger of losing all of its money for all of its depositors. The FDIC can only cover up to $250,000 in a bank. And in that bank, 80% of the people had more than $250,000. You're talking millions and billions. But the amount of companies invested in Silicon Valley Bank was insane, because that's like a major startup bank business. So a lot of startup businesses go to Silicon Valley Bank. And it's in all the countries as well. So the minute that went, the knock-on effect was huge. So the government had to step in quick to try and stop bigger bank runs. But the move's already begun. The dominoes have started falling. People are losing confidence. People are pulling the money. Because if you've got a global thing going on and they start worrying, people are going to pull it out. Because if you've got small amounts of money, it's not really too much of a concern because you're insured for certain amounts anyway. But when you've got way above that, you're talking billions and millions, obviously companies are going to move it. When companies start to move it, that's when banks get in trouble. So it was due a collapse. It was ready anyway. So ISO 20022 is coming out. The new messaging system that will move onto the blockchain that the banks will work on. So it runs on blockchain technology. It's way faster even on the current system it's running on. it's going to go insanely fast once it moves onto the QFS. It hasn't moved on there yet, not fully. But once the QFS is fully launched and it moves onto there, XRP and XLM will be doing millions of transactions per second.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 to 8.